are directed to Secretary Mabus and Admiral Howard. I appreciate the time both of you have spent in my district. Admiral Howard, your remarks at the christening of the Montgomery were just fabulous. Thank you. Secretary Mabus, what are the likely impacts to the Littoral Combat Ship Program of slowing or breaking production in fiscal years 16, 17, and 18 as we move toward implementing the design upgrades in FY19?
We're in a block buy, as you know, on the Littoral Combat Ships, and they're in full serial production now. We've driven the cost down because of that, from a beginning cost per hull of about $800 million now to the ones coming off the line of about $350 million. If you break that, that serial production, if you break that block buy, you, number one, lose some very skilled craftsmen. It's very hard to get that back. The industrial base impact are enormous. Number two, you end the economies of scale that we have now and the ability to do these ships one after the other. Number three, after the Small Surface Combatant Task Force looked at how to make these ships more lethal, more survivable, they've come up with a package after an exhaustive look at every possible type ship, every possible type upgrade, that for about $75 million a ship, it's going to be far more lethal, far more survivable, and you can fit it onto this hull. But to keep those dollars, both for the hull cost and for the upgrade cost, in those bounds at all, you have to keep this serial production going. You have a production break, you're going to be looking again at a first of a ship class, far more expensive. You're going to be looking at job training that you'll have to do because you will have lost so many of these tradesmen. It would be not only for the LCS and its follow-on, the frigate, that it will be the same ship, just upgraded. I cannot overemphasize how devastating it would be to break production for economic reasons, because you're going to end up getting fewer ships at a much higher cost. So any economies that you might think you were getting would just disappear. I think I use the term, it's a bizarre way to approach shipbuilding.
If I may, there's also a warfighting and operational aspect. When you slow down the build rate of the ships, we are producing these ships to replace our aging mine countermeasure capability. They will replace the frigates, and the last of our frigates are being decommissioned this year. That ship right now, coupled with the Fire Scout, tremendous ISR capability potential, she's going to bring flexibility and agility to some of our mission sets. And the longer we stretch out that gap as the frigates go away, the less we can offer up to the COCOM's needs.
Finally, Congressman, we have a need, a demonstrated need for 52 of these small surface combatants. We will not get there under the current budget and under the current bill plan until 2028. So to Admiral Howard's point, we will be low in terms of these for the next more than a decade.
Well, there have been some comment about the fact that it had this redesign coming from the task force that looked at it. Isn't it par for the course that we change ships as we understand new circumstances, Admiral, that, for example, on both our DDGs and the Virginia-class submarine, we've had to make some redesigns and changes because we've learned new things and there are new circumstances out there. So is it any different with regard to the redesign of the LCS to become a frigate? Is it just our responding to the new circumstances we've discovered?
So you're quite right. That is the very essence of modernization for all of our services. And then for capital ships, that certainly takes an amount of time. The genius of LCS was to create the mission packages, the weapon systems, separate from the platform so that we could more quickly adjust to emerging threats.
Well, I just want to thank you both because I know how hard you've worked for the fleet in general, but in my particular concern has been the LCS. and I appreciate your leadership on that, and you'll have the continued support of this Congressman as you do so, and I yield back.
Ms. Stefanik.